Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Anybody there? Can anyone see me? Can anyone hear me? Theoretically, you can hear me. Theoretically, you can see me. And are you ready for another hour or two of Infinite Creativity 𝗬𝗓𝗓? As it says on the box, here it is. Infinite Creativity 𝗬𝗓𝗓 with Sab in Paris. That's me. Now with added irreverence. I created this a while ago, this visual, and I'm wondering if it's still true. Creative exploration. Well, yes, we're here to explore creativity. That is absolutely still on the agenda. Transformational coaching. You know, I kind of threw this in because I was kind of thinking, I'll get people to know that I'm a transformational coach, as if there's another sort. But yes, we can do transformational coaching here. I mean, if you've got questions, if you're stuck in your creativity or your productivity or anything else for that matter, then let's get to it. You know, let's get some questions going. What is it about creativity that you love? What is it that is difficult for you? This show is the embodiment, the personification of my mission here. And I might be talking more about purpose, meaning and mission in a little while, because I just wrote a couple of articles about them. This is the place where I want to inspire week after week you. That's very French structure. You say inspire, then you give all sorts of qualifiers, and then you finally say what you're going to inspire. The French often do that. So inspire week after week with passion and pathos and empathy, you to be as creative as you would love to be. Creative and productive. So that's it. That's the show. I try to inspire you with my creative stuff and my creative ideas, but without you, there's not really a show. It's just me talking about my stuff. So I don't want that. I want you to talk to me. So I'd like you to say hello if you're watching. Say, well, hopefully, if you've been nice to StreamYard, which is the system that I use, you will. I will see who you are if you say hello. Otherwise, you have to go somewhere and say yes. You can show who I am. So somebody's saying hello, and it's 𝗬𝗓𝗓𝗓. Hello, 𝗬𝗓𝗓𝗓. Nice to have you here. It's you and me, babe, for the time being. Anybody else there? Anyone else want to say hello? Let me tell you how I'm rolling tonight. I'm rolling with my lizard mug. What about you guys? What are you rolling with tonight? I'm rolling with my lizard mug and my 𝗜𝗡𝗙𝗓, or maybe 𝗜𝗡𝗙𝗑, which doesn't sound that nice. My 𝗜𝗡𝗙 tea here. You see, 𝗜𝗡𝗙 tea. Maybe it's pucker. And it says blackberry flavour. Does it? Blackberry flavour. Blackcurrant beauty. I'm so sorry. And it's the blah blah on the, you know, they always, it's like wine, you know, they're basically selling a bunch of dried leaves without much flavour, so they have to sell it, and they sell it through marketing bullshit, basically, just like wine. Hang on. So 𝗬𝗓𝗓𝗓 is saying hello, and 𝗬𝗓𝗓𝗓 is saying a lot more than hello. Creativity is just connecting things. When you ask creative people how they did something, they feel a little guilty because they didn't really do it. They just saw something. It seemed obvious to them after a while. That's because they were able to connect experiences. I knew I recognized this. I knew I recognized it. I didn't want to say it sounds like I've read this before. It seemed obvious to them after a while. That's because they were able to connect experiences they've had and synthesize new things. Steve Jobs. Yeah, you know, some people like Steve Jobs, some people don't like him, but he did say this famous thing, or it became famous once he said it. And yeah, you can genuinely ask yourself what creativity is. I often say creativity isn't a thing. Doing something is a thing, like making a cup of tea is a thing, or painting a picture is a thing. Here's one I painted earlier. Painting a picture is a thing. Creativity isn't a thing. Writing a book is a thing, or a poem. Creativity isn't a thing. Taking a photograph and publishing it is a thing. Creativity isn't a thing. Do you see what I mean? You can only be creative if you're creating something. So that's why sometimes I think, I'd like to say this quite often, because it's as though creativity were a thing, but it's not. It's like saying, I like meeting people. You can, but that's not really the thing. The thing is actually meeting them and having a coffee and talking about, I don't know, their kids or the last place they've been or the last film they saw. That's the thing. Saying I like people is just blah, blah. So I want to see what people are creating. I don't want to hear that someone's creative. I want someone to show me something they've just created. That's the difference. That's why I don't say what I do. No, sorry, hang on, let me get this right. Yeah, that's why I don't say what I am. I say what I've done in the last little while. Because you could say anything, couldn't you? I could say I'm the Queen of Sheba. Without evidence to the contrary, it might be true. But it's so much blah blah, it's so much hot air. But if you say to someone, well look, I did this week. You see this little baby here? Nice and black on the edges, and it's got nice little colours on the... Let's see if I can get it in focus. Focus, focus. It needs not to have anything else to focus on. Come on, you can do it. Anyway, it's got colours on it, and they're not as fuzzy as they seem. How do I do this? I don't know how. Hang on, if I put my hand there, sometimes that works. There you go, that's a bit better. Okay, so yeah, this is part of a painting which I'm working on. You see, so this is what I've done. This is what I've created this week. So that's what I want. I want you to show me your creative stuff. If you've got a link, put it in the comments and I'll hunt it down. I'll hunt you down and I will expose your creative stuff. So that's it. Yeah, how are you doing? How's it going? If you're watching, how are you doing this week? What's the interesting thing that you've created this week? What have you created that you're happy with? Beautiful puzzle piece. Well, this is a new one. I've got, I published 2 this week, and I'll show you them to you without further ado. So these are 2. Thanks, Despina, for saying that it's a beautiful puzzle piece. Yeah, so in the desktop format, I published 2 this week. This one, which has already been adopted. And this was interesting because I decided, normally I'm colours everywhere. You've seen this, you saw this, I showed it to you. Lots of colours everywhere. Well, I decided to at least start just with white, which I often do. Hi, Yana. I've got you, Yana. You are now known to the StreamYard services, and I can see who you are. So I've written a couple of poems recently, Yana. Today and yesterday I wrote a poem. Hey, yeah, I'm a poet, yeah. You see, I said earlier, I don't say what I am, I say what I've done recently, because that's the only thing that seems valid and true to me. Otherwise you could say anything. So I'm just joking when I say I'm a poet, but I'm not joking when I say I wrote a poem this morning and I wrote one yesterday. That's not a joke, that's true, and I can show them to you. My definition of what I am only goes back about a week. So if it's a personal thing, I don't know, what about you? What about you? How do you, I've got some people watching, I've got some comments coming, I'll get to you. How do you decide what you are? If you say you're a poet, I don't know if you do or not. I don't say I'm a poet. I say that I write poetry sometimes. And what pleases me most of all is to be able to say, I've just written a poem. That's the best. But I try not to say I'm a poet. Even though, I've got a huge I've got a website. Look, it's called Mystic Rhythms. And it's got, like 2019, more than 12 poems. 2018, 32 poems. 2017, 2, and so on. It doesn't look like there's many there, but there's a ton. I'm up to maybe 300, 400 poems, maybe more. But I don't say I'm a poet. As soon as you say you're a poet, you've not said that you're all the other things you do. So that kind of bugs me. I hate labels. You know, I'm the label destroyer. You see, I just called myself something. I just said I'm the label destroyer. Bam. No, I'm not anything. I'm just whatever. I'm just whatever's going on right now. So you can make with all the colours of the rainbow. You know, I did a painting once with a rainbow, and to be honest, it looked a bit stupid. I think it's got to be a bit subtler than that. All the colours of the rainbow, yes, because this, as I was saying, I'm already getting into long-winded stories. I'm going to have to calm down a little bit. So this, oh, hang on, Yana is saying, oh, okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. One purple, one orange, more minimal. You're thinking that's what I should do? One purple, one orange? Wonderful. I also wrote one. Yana, is it the poem that I saw the other day? You don't mean the one that you wrote during the creative writing show? You mean another one? I've got two. I wrote two recently. I'm so excited. Kuku Despina says, yeah, Yaruska. Yana says, I am. So important what we say after this. Yes, it is. It is. You know, there was this writing thing that I used to like. It's I something, therefore I something. Therefore I am. I something, therefore I am. And this was a game that I really liked a few years ago. I don't do it so much now, but I did create websites. I created a website called guess what the blank is? I blank, therefore I am. Can you guess what the blank is? Create. I create, therefore I am. So I do have a website called I Create Therefore I Am. It's dead. I haven't used it for a while. But anyway, you know, things move on. So I like that. You can play that game. Okay, guys, if you were to finish this sentence, I something, therefore I am, what would it be? Type it into the chat. For me, it was, maybe still is, I create, therefore I am. I like that. What about you? What would it be? It could be I write, therefore I am. It could be I cook, therefore I am. It could be I love, therefore I am. I don't know. You tell me. What would it be for you? I something, therefore I am. Yeah, this I am is very interesting. I was doing an exercise the other day for some program, and you had to write I am, who you are, who you think you are. And you had to write a paragraph, write I am, and then finish it in a few things, listing all the different things you consider yourself to be. It could have been I am a woman or a man, I am a parent, I am a daughter, I am a writer, I am a teacher, I am British, I am funny, I am stupid, I am old, I am 55, I am tired. So the idea was you were supposed to write a whole bunch of things that you consider yourself to be. But the exercise is to make you realize that in fact, you're not any of those things. You're something else. I'm something else. That was the exercise, and it was a pretty good exercise. We adopt these labels, and then we end up thinking that they really are us. Hang on, my electricity's going to die. 1 second. Yeah, so we adopt these labels. We swallow them, hook, line, and sinker. If you can do that with a label, we swallow them, and then we forget that we swallowed them, and then that becomes us. Especially if they're limiting ones, especially if they're stupid, I can't do this type of ones. I can't draw. Very often they're not I am, it's what you can't do, isn't it? I'm a crap artist, I can't sing, I can't run, all sorts of stuff. That's why it's dangerous. Lesbina says, Cuckoo, lovely Yaru. And Lesbina says, I have stolen your quote and have it on my profile in Mind Valley. I create, therefore I am. Oh, yeah, well, I don't own words. They're free for everyone to use. I've seen a lot of the words that I use in various dictionaries. So, I've got to live with that. I create, therefore I am. That's good. Despina, this I am can be a great exercise for exploring roles and labels. So basically we're saying the same thing actually. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, back to this story. This is what it's like. It's me rambling. You give me stuff to respond to, I respond. By the way, if you have any questions, that would be great. If you have comments, that's fantastic. And otherwise, I'll just show you my creative stuff. You show me yours. Yeah, Jana, would you like to share your poem with us? If you show me yours, I'll show you mine. How about that? Is that a deal? So this was me. I was starting with white, with all the various elements, and then I was going to do some colour on it. And somebody said, I want a white one. I don't want you to, don't put anything on it. I want it white. So I said, okay, you can have it a white one. And then I couldn't not put a little bit of colour. It was just, in French they say, c'était plus fort que moi. It was stronger than me. So I had to put this tiny little bit of colour here. So I did, and there it is. I can show you the detail of that bit of colour. Well, that's the whole, you see that actually I can blow this up much better. If you go down here, okay, you can see just around the coin with my signature is the colour. It's, I love it, I love it. And to be honest, someone bought this and he said he probably wouldn't have bought it if it hadn't had the dash of colour. So there you go. Isn't it incredible? Just a tiny dash of colour can change everything. Having said that, the person who wanted a white version at first was a bit disappointed that I'd added colour. And then she came round. So there you go. Yoriska says, why did you decide to make it white? For some special reason? Well, Yoriska, I wondered, I was going to make it with colour, but the first step was white. D'abord, c'était blanc. Après, j'allais ajouter de la couleur. Et quelqu'un m'a dit, non, je le veux en blanc, que du blanc. So somebody wanted it only in white. So I was going to give it to them white. J'allais donner en blanc. Et après, c'était plus fort que moi. Je ne pouvais pas ne pas mettre un peu de couleur, un tout petit peu de couleur. Et voilà, donc finalement, mais c'est assez joli comme ça, hein? C'est assez joli en blanc. I think I like it, you know, c'est beau en blanc, c'est pur. You have to be very careful these days. I call this white is white, if you look at it. Does it say something? White is white. And I was thinking, oh my God, I hope that's not politically incorrect. But this came from the song Black is Black. And I thought, well, black is black, white is white, you know, it's no big deal. I'm not saying that white is good and black isn't, or vice versa, but anyway, you just got to be careful these days. So there it is. That is my white is white. And that has now been sold. There's 3 versions of it. And one version has been bought by someone in Germany. One version, I must admit, someone wanted it. I didn't know that someone was going to buy it immediately, so someone else is going to get this version. And the other version is going into Infinity Squared Connective project. Okay, so the 3rd version is going to go here, and you can adopt a piece. 8 of the pieces will be white, and the other one will have the one of them will have the color. But you can't choose. You don't know which piece you're going to get. That's the game. And the other one I finished was, oh, hang on. So Yuruska says, I'm interested in having a piece of the old Paris railway. Yeah, well, this is the new thing. This is my new thing. So if you look at this one, I'm going to try and, you'll see the mess on my desk. I'm going to try and show you this now. I'll make this bigger. Maybe I need to get rid of that altogether. Yeah, so this is So let me see what I can show you here. Okay, there's so this one has writing on it. It's quite colourful. Here you where you are. You. This is trickier than I thought. And it's my own picture. Are you, okay, look, are you, no. Are, can you see that's upside down? Why is it upside down? Are, okay, are you here? Okay, this one is, are you here? Question mark. Are you here? Now, I've got to follow, this is a piece of vegetation. It's pine needles, some sort of pine needles. So I have to find the other bit of pine needle. Is it there? No. Is it? No. Ah. There we go. I've got very bad lighting on this, by the way. It should look much nicer. So there you go. Are you here? Okay. Okay, that goes there. So upside down it says you are here. And there's a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle there. So I have to find that. There it is. Okay, so that goes there. So that says you are here. That says are you here? And there's another one. There's another one. So that says you are here. That says are you here? And this says here you. Well, let's this isn't ideal television, I'm afraid. Whoops, oh my god, here we go. So that goes like that. I'll be losing all my viewers here. And that says here you are. Here you are. So in one case it's saying are you here on this little coin. Here it's saying you are here on the jigsaw piece. And here it's saying here you are on the, this is the little piece of Paris railway, okay? But it carries on here, you see? So this has to come across here. That goes across there. And this can come across here. There you have the infinity symbol. That's supposed to be squared, but it turned into a blob. This is a piece of the old Paris railway. It's part of the sleeper. The sleeper which was under the rails of the old Paris, they call it the La Petite Ceinture, the little belt. It went all the way around Paris. And this is part of it. So if you acquire one of these paintings, or even a piece with it on, you have a piece of my adopted city. This is my signature, Sab, with on a coin. Now this coin is it's either a penny, an English penny, or it's a Parisian 1 centime, 2 centimes, or 5 centimes piece. So there's the infinity symbol. The Eiffel Tower is there somewhere. Ah, can you see the Eiffel Tower? I have to move it. The Eiffel Tower is there. This is a piece of sycamore seed pod. Jigsaws everywhere, of course. These jigsaws have already been used by me, by my son, or maybe by strangers, and they were bought at a jumble sale. So that's the story of that picture. Very colourful one. I hope that wasn't too painful to watch. Hello everybody. So 𝗜𝗚𝗙𝗘𝗔𝗧𝗬𝗓 says, I'm interested in having a piece of the old Paris railway. Well, that means you need to either get a painting like this, or you need to adopt a piece and hope that it's one of the 3 pieces that has this, because I can't guarantee it. You can't choose. That's part of the game. Whoa, says 𝗜𝗚𝗙𝗘𝗔𝗧𝗬𝗓. Okay, everybody. So there we go. This one is there's a new one. That one isn't even on any of my sites yet. This one, this is the latest one here. Okay, so this one is up for adoption. There it is. I was having fun with that as well. Always the same idea. The colours change, the shapes change, but this is very similar. You see, it's the whole series have the same elements. Up to 4 jigsaw pieces, coins, little washer thing found in the streets of Paris, or given to me by someone. I don't just buy them, you know, it has to have a history. There's the 𝗜𝗡𝗙𝗜𝗓 𝗔𝗧𝗑𝗏, goes on there. And that's the grid to show you what it looks like. This is it. It's a little desktop sized, and you can check them out. Fun, fun, fun. Infinity squared. Puzzle pieces, puzzle paintings with no beginning and no end. Anyway, so how about you guys? What have you been up to? Here's Thomas. Hello everyone. Have a nice Sunday evening. Yeah. So did you guys get up to anything interesting this weekend? Did you do anything creative or productive? Let me know. 𝗜𝗚𝗙𝗜𝗓 says, how does inspiration come? I'm having a conversation with a friend now who says it's difficult to get inspiration. How does one start? Thank you for your question, 𝗜𝗚𝗙𝗜𝗓. Could anyone give your idea on that? How does inspiration come, or where does it come from? Is a common question. Where do you think it comes from? Or how does it come? How does inspiration come? There's this legend called writer's block. Writer's block seems to be a thing. A lot of people think that it's a thing, writer's block. In other words, they think that something is stopping them from writing. Do any of you think you have writer's block? That would be interesting to know. Well, here's a way of looking at it. If you think you've got writer's block, that kind of makes me think that you think you should be producing stuff faster. Writer's block means you wish you'd written something before now, right? But you haven't. And you think something is stopping you. But here's a different way of looking at it. Hang on, I've got writer's block is crap, it doesn't exist. So I can stop talking now, I'll talk about something else. Writer's block is crap, it doesn't exist. I think you need to possibly justify that. You just asked me, how does inspiration come? And now you're saying writer's block is crap. I'd love to hear more about that. So here's another way of looking at writer's block. You could say it's crap and it doesn't exist. Maybe a little bit more helpful would, because if you say something like it's crap, it doesn't exist, the person who thinks they've got it could then say, yes, it does. And you could say, no, it doesn't. And they can say, oh, yes, it does. And you can say, oh, no, it doesn't. So you need to back that up. 𝗜𝗚𝗙𝗜𝗓 says, for me, inspiration comes from everyday life. A smile here, a fight there. Okay. So from living life, from having experiences. So I was going to say, maybe people who think they've got writer's block are are underestimating the time that something needs in order to be done. Because that's all it means, isn't it? It means you haven't done something as quickly as you'd like to have, or you think you should have done it faster. But what if that thing needs more time? You haven't got writer's block at all. It's just the thing isn't ready to be born, you know? The creative egg isn't ready to be laid. It needs incubation time. So I kind of, yeah, it's very interesting when you say writer's block doesn't exist and that it's crap. Because, I mean, I kind of feel that. But having said that, if someone feels stuck, they feel stuck. But maybe they shouldn't be expecting ideas just to come, especially when you try to force it, they often don't come. So I think one of the best things to do is what 𝗜𝗡𝗙 said, is go off and do something else, live life a bit. And when you're not expecting it, bam, the ideas will come. There's nothing worse than trying to force creativity, force inspiration. I think that's it's a lost battle. Inspiration and creativity and ideas don't work like that. They come when they're good and ready to come. And it's not when you want them to. But if you chill out and you go and do something else and you live life, you have a fight or you see a smile, bam, that's it. The ideas will come. For me, inspiration comes from everyday life, a smile here, a fight there. Yeah, it's exactly the same for me. Every single day, I think of something new to write and a new photograph to take. I don't ask the ideas to come, but they come. The poem that I wrote today came from a photograph. I was going to write some boring couple of lines about the photograph, and then it turned into this poem. You see all those words there? It turned into that. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? It came because I expected something to turn up. I exposed myself to an interesting photograph, and then I just said, okay, what's going to happen now? And funnily enough, something happened. This is the photograph that inspired it. And this is what it looks like. I called it bird brains. And I thought that these locks under a ledge of stone, they reminded me of the birds that make their nests underneath the eaves of houses. Maybe you have some in your place. You know, there's the wall, there's the thing that sticks out sometimes, and then there's the roof. And under here, under this bit, birds make their nests, especially in the countryside. And these locks reminded me of that. And then I started thinking about what the locks represent. You know, it's the love locks of Paris, the so-called love locks. People put their name, you can see, people put their names on them. They tie them to anything they can lock them to. And they've had their romantic moment, they probably kiss, and they throw the key in the river, very ecologically sound. And they go away and they think when they're back in, I don't know, Bulgaria or Australia or Philadelphia, they think, we've got a lock on a bridge. It used to be a bridge, but they made the bridges less easy to put locks on because basically the locks were destroying the bridges. But there's plenty of things that they can attach them to in Paris. And this is by the side of the river, so it's still quite romantic. They can still pollute the river by throwing the key in. And but that's not the end of the story, because if the locks are in places that the city considers not very pleasant to look at, or they're destroying a bridge, for example, little guys will come along with little cutters and chop them down. So a love lock in Paris isn't necessarily forever, which all of that led to this text, which I played around with and had some fun with. Okay, so has 𝗜𝗡𝗙 justified her violent assertion that writer's block is crap and doesn't exist? Let's see. For me, inspiration, yeah, we've seen that 10 times. It's very difficult to choose one. They are all very beautiful with a lot of meaning. You mean the paintings? You're talking about the paintings, 𝗜𝗓𝗘𝗓𝗓. Yeah, well, that's part of the fun, isn't it? This minister said, I wasn't talking about my inspiration, but I'm trying to help a friend. Well, yeah, that's interesting. What is the friend... Conversation with a friend now who says it's difficult to get inspiration. I think you know, just as I know, 𝗓𝗏𝗏, that you can't force. Inspiration comes from somewhere else. Inspire, you know, it means like to breathe into someone. Something needs to do the breathing into. So you can't sit there and think, you know, come on, come on. Something has to be inspired. Something has to be breathed in to the body or to the spirit or the soul. And for that, you need to expose yourself to stuff like everyday events, but with a view to being open. You have to go there, go somewhere open, expecting something to happen. You can be positive as well. You can expect ideas to come, but don't expect them to come at any given time. It's like, don't expect to finish some creative project by a certain date. Creativity doesn't work like that. You can finish projects by a certain date, but there'll be an element of forced effort. And I don't think forced effort rhymes with pure creative genius. Having said that, there's a good argument for just creating something every day. And, you know, the more you create, the more of those creations will be great. There will also be more crap ones. But more crap ones and more great ones is better than nothing at all. Because amongst the crap ones and the average ones, you've got great ones. And that comes from creating very regularly. And you know that I recommend every day. I'll say it again, because I love this. And I'll even get really, really big and serious. If you want to create a lot of stuff, if you want to be a really creative person, create something every day. Every day. Doesn't matter if it's one word or one brushstroke or one photograph. Do it every day. Why every day? Because there's no day that can be the day off. Because as soon as you've got a day in the week that is the day off, you get flexible. You get flexible on that day off. If you're feeling a bit tired, you're feeling a bit, you know, uninspired, you say, listen, I'm going to make today the day off. I know it's normally on Sunday, but it's Thursday. I'm going to make Thursday the day off. And then I'll work on Sunday. I'll be creative on Sunday. It doesn't work like that. It just does not work like that. It's just like diets. It doesn't work like that. So just create every day. And just start. Just start and the creativity will come. And you'll forget that you were trying to put it off. And you'll remember that you actually love being creative. That's a silly thing, you know. We love being creative. We love doing whatever it is that we do. And yet we forget it right up until we have to force ourselves to do it. And as soon as we start doing it, we remember that we love it. Kind of nuts, but that seems to be how it goes for me. Thomas says, inspiration is maybe to get aware of oneself and the whole other world. And then just want to do something. And then just want to do something. To get aware of oneself and the whole other world. Creativity, it sounds a bit sort of hippie-ish, but it is. It's being one with the world, isn't it? It's interacting with the world. Creativity, it's not really a thing that we start. It's something that we continue. It's not like, I'm going to be creative and I'm going to start 3, 2, 1, now. It doesn't work like that. Something has to have breathed in. We have to have breathed in the idea to then let creativity out. And to breathe stuff in, to be inspired, we need to have exposed ourselves to stuff like life, like a walk, like a leaf falling. If you look at my poem here, part of this poem talks about leaves falling. And you know why? Well, because in this picture there is a leaf falling. There it is. There's another one there. They're falling. And in my poem I talk about falling leaves, and then leaves on the river, and so on. And leaves rhymes with eaves. Eaves are where the birds build their nests. I thought of 5 different types of birds. I rhymed the birds several times with other words. All of it came from me inspiring this image, being inspired by this image. Stuff has to go in, come in, before you can let new stuff out, which has been turned around, twisted around. And don't think that you're not creative. Don't think that you're not inspired. Just expose yourself to inspiration. If you sit in a vacuum wondering why inspiration isn't coming, well, that's why. You're not. It's a process. It comes into you, stirs something around, and then leaves you. It comes, acts, and goes. It's like a cycle. It might come through seeing a photograph. It might leave through a poem. And that's the way it is. We're part of the cycle. We're not the cycle. We're not it. We're not creativity. We're part of the cycle. And the cycle continues, it exists before us. It exists after us. It comes through us. It needs us to continue. Otherwise it could stop. If I hadn't produced the poem, the image would have stopped with me. I know it's my image, but I was inspired by my image. If I'd looked at it and said, nice image, I don't think I'll use that today. Well, the poem wouldn't have come out of me. You wouldn't be looking at the poem. You wouldn't be inspired by this poem, potentially, or the photograph, to do something yourself. It wouldn't have happened. So there's no beginning and no end to it. There's no beginning and no end. But the question is, do you want to be a player? Do you want to be part of this cycle? Or do you want to be an observer? Do you want to be the audience? Or do you want to be an actor? Do you want to be a participant? And I would say, be a participant far more, as often as you can. There are times to be a spectator or in the audience. Of course there are. But I think the excitement of life, the beauty, the things that make life worth living are to be part of the creative cycle, not just a passive Netflix watcher, day in, day out, forever. So thanks for that, Thomas. The notion of time is interesting in the writer's block. You are right. Well, it's not an original idea. I heard it somewhere else. But I like this idea of not thinking something has to be done by a certain time. Why should it? If we're just channels for creativity, we don't really know how long something's going to take, do we? So let's not worry about it. Just get in the game, though. Be doing stuff, but you might decide to leave that for a day and work on something else. But be in the game. Be doing something. If you do that, then it wasn't that thing's time to be finished, but it was this thing's time to advance. I've got several paintings on the go at the same time. Sometimes I leave one, sometimes I leave it just to dry, but sometimes I leave it because I'm not inspired and I work on another one. So it wasn't that one's time to finish, it was that one's time to rest, but it was the other one's time to advance a little bit. But I'm still in the game. I'm not just sitting on the sofa doing nothing. That doesn't please me. That doesn't make me excited. You dedicated today's image to me. Thank you. Yes, I did. So this is, well, let me read this. So this is the thing that I published. Let me show you how it fits into the grand scheme of things. This is the chapter which I just finished. It's Halloween, by the way. Did you do anything interesting for Halloween? Do you do Halloween? Is it a thing for you? My latest piece, I'm trying to catch up. I'm about 2 days behind. I wrote about the folly of Halloween and all that nonsense. Slightly cynical, but that's one of the reasons you don't completely hate me, as I said in my text. So this was the latest chapter. There it is, with me in the middle, and down in the bottom right. Well, actually, these bottom two, both inspired poems, which I was kind of pleased about because I was in a dearth of poetry and I was missing it. I really was missing it. So 2 poems popped out. I was very pleased about that, and I'll read them. So this is the picture which inspired the first one, and on the wall I found this in a little alleyway which went down to a dead end on the back side of 𝗜𝗡𝗙𝗜𝗓𝗔𝗧𝗜𝗠 church in Paris, a stunning, amazing church at 𝗜𝗡𝗙𝗜𝗓𝗔𝗧𝗜𝗠. And in a little back alley, backing onto it, was this person, this artist. And I've seen this before in Montmartre. This is going to inspire some of my paintings as well. These little spindly black lines with the little heart flowers on them. And there was a bike, and they went around a window, and it was all very cute. This wasn't dedicated to Desponate. It was dedicated, I don't think who it was dedicated to. So this is what I wrote. Heartfelt. I love you, Clementine. My heart crawls up your wall, but your windows are barred and your bike's locked tight. You don't see me at all. If I cover this city in red flowers pretty, scrawling out your name, will you open your door to dim down the uproar and tame your eyes in mine? That's kind of cute little romantic thing there. You know, I just think, who the hell is doing these little heart flowers, for one thing, and secondly, who the hell too is Clementine? Is this person that does the art in love with Clementine? She is in love with him or her, and he or she is desperately trying to get her attention. Maybe he is, let's say he is in love with her and she knows it, and he's decided to put her name all over Paris, which is damn romantic, isn't it? Maybe it's a sort of unrequited love. Maybe he's desperately in love with her and she doesn't give a damn, and she hates him. Maybe she cringes maybe she can't move, she can't leave her apartment, and bam, there it is again. Je t'aime, Clémentine. Can you imagine? I love you, Clementine. There's something intriguing about it. I'd love to know what's going on, and I don't, which is cool because I can dream. And this one says, yes, please read them. The Clementine picture is gorgeous. And of course, there's a link with Oh My Darling. Do you know that song? Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling, Clementine. Thou, what is it? Thou art lost and gone forever, dreadful sorrow, Clementine. Yeah, it's an old, lovely old song, isn't it? And yeah, so, you know, it's just wandering around. This photograph, you know, I went on a little walk, which led me to this. I took the photograph, got home, played with the photograph. Then the poem came, the bike came, my imagination about Clementine, who did it. It's living life. It's being open to life's experiences. And it makes life rich. If you've got an artistic soul, this might sound pathetic, you know. Who gives a damn about some stupid person doing little heart flowers on a wall? You know, you might think, you know, it's preposterous. They should be sent to prison, defacing, you know, beautiful Paris with this sort of stupid crap. Or you might think otherwise. But you've got to, I don't know. I'm about to slam bankers, right? With a tar bankers with a brush. I really shouldn't, you know. I'm just thinking, would a banker, we know that bankers don't have souls, would they walk past this and either not notice it or tut, you know, oh, dear oh dear, I'm going to have to pay My taxes are going to go to clean that wall. Damn, stupid idiots. But I don't know. Paris is full of this sort of stuff, and it's what makes life worth living, if you ask me. That's why I'm not a banker, you know, because you'd have to sell your soul to money. That's all bankers have sold their soul to money. They, you know, they lead horrible, solitary, bitter little lives, and I'm joking, of course, you know, joking, but you can only, it's imagination, isn't it? Let your imagination go. Who does the bike belong to? Who's Clementine? I'll let you know when I find out. Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine, thou art lost and gone forever, dreadful sorrow, Clementine. Then it's a in a can, in a cannon, in a canyon, no, in a cavern, in a canyon, excavating for a month. I don't know. Anyway, something like that. Talking about bankers, you reminded me of Mary Poppins. Yeah, Mary Poppins, poor old guy. He was like a serious banker, but he did have a soul. But he was just, you know, yeah. Mary Poppins, one of my favourite films. Oh my God, there's a song in there that always makes me cry. It's the one about the birds. What is it? It's not. Oh God, I thought of Heal the World. Michael Jackson. Get out of here, Michael. Oh, oh. No, it's Feed the Birds. Feed the birds. Tuppence a bag, tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag. Oh my God, that always made me cry. But not today. So there it is, heartfelt. I love you, Clementine. My heart crawls up your wall. But your windows are barred and your bike's locked tight. You don't see me at all. If I cover this city in red flowers pretty, scrawling out your name, will you open your door to dim down the uproar and tame your eyes in mine? Feed the birds. Tuppence a bag. Tuppence. Tuppence is 2 pennies. 2 old pennies. Feed the birds. Tuppence a bag. Tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag. And the other one that came out, by the way, it's not all about me, folks. Can you give me, Yana, I'm still waiting for a poem from you. Do you have a new one to show us? Also, if you've created anything, new photographs, anything like that, you can point me towards the site and I'll look at them. But as I'm here on this page, I will show you this. So this was the thing and this was the poem. And it's called Bird Brains. Here we go. The problem is it's got some things that are kind of tricky to scan, so I'm going to have to try and do my best here. Like starlings and swifts, swallows and sparrows, under drab dry stone eaves, nestling pointed as arrows, sharp senside reminders, these poignant remains, hold heartfelt rejoinders, leaves tumble like rain. In vain Paris promises, forever darlings, give way to wry rifts, lovers' tiffs and sad snarlings. While he weekends away, romance reeling in trysts, in the mists of sly time, slits on slim tattooed wrists. On the river leaves drift, giving lies to sweet dreams, swirling round dreary drains, desire rotting in reams. Signs sealed and delivered, their loves are locked down, until spring thaws bring cold claws, doves wallow while drown. Then come green-clad municipal workers with cutters who clinically clear, cast away quayside clutter. It's harrowing work, carting love off in barrows, harassed by grey ghosts and bombarded by sparrows. I don't think I messed up too much of the scans, because some of them are a bit tricky. See, because there's this then come green-clad municipal workers with cutters. It sounds like a mouthful, but what you've got to do is say then come green-clad municipal work. Then come, it's really fast, you see. Then come green-clad municipal workers with cutters who clinically clear, cast away quayside clutter. I was thinking of keys, you know, the keys that are thrown away, quayside keys. Oh yeah. So that got a bit bitter at the end, to be honest. But I'm not as bitter as it sounds, or cynical. Well, I am actually, but you know, underneath it all, there's a good heart there somewhere. Yeah. Tuppence a bag. Yeah, I'm kind of done here. What have you got? What have you got for me? So if you're watching, could you tell me something that you've created nice this week, or that you're thinking of creating next week or producing? Can I help you with anything? Can I help you with any, you know, more comments on creativity, productivity? And how do you feel when you're creating? Do you lose yourself in it? Do you have difficulty getting going? That would be interesting to discuss. What I'm thinking of doing is collecting my top 10 or top 9 maybe questions on creativity and productivity and putting them together. I have written some stuff in the last little while. If you're a member of if you're on my mailing list, you get my newsletter at least once a week. Sometimes it's 7 times a week, but that depends. And I might throw some memes in there. And I do a little inspirational thing on creativity. And I recently was pulling from a couple of articles that I wrote on lazypig.com. And I wrote a couple I put it in the Infinity Bites, which is more about the meaning of life, universe and everything. And one was called Purpose and Meaning for Dummies. And following on from purpose and meaning, I realized that I hadn't talked about my purpose and meaning in life, and that there was a natural follow on to a mission. In other words, fine, you found your purpose. You think you've got something you like doing. Great, you've got a meaning. You think it means something, which is kind of cool. It would be nice if you think that what you do in life actually means something. But then I thought it was missing something. It was missing a kind of mission statement, you know. Okay, so you've found something you like doing, you think it's worth doing, it's got a meaning. Bam! Why don't you go full out and make it a mission? It doesn't have to be your mission forever, but what about if you had a mission rather than not having any mission? That's what I mean. I don't mean that, you know, it's in stone, you found your mission, that's it. Because I think you can choose any mission you like. I don't think there's a mission out there waiting for you. I think it's more a case of find something you love doing, make sure you think that it's meaningful and that it's helping not just you but others. That's what meaning is for me. It's not just about me. And then get a bit sort of focused on it. Make it a mission. Try to work on it every week, for example. So that's what my second article here was. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, was about stating your mission. And, you know, you can change it next week. It's not a big deal. But what about if you have a mission rather than not? So my question for the next couple of weeks is going to be, what's your mission? Do you have a mission? If so, what is it? Let's hear it. What's your mission? And my mission is to create as much as possible, to share it, and to inspire others to create and share as much as they would like to. So we have this beautiful, nice sort of creative cycle going round and round, because I think that creating stuff and sharing it on a regular basis is a great way to lead an interesting life. You know, that's what I've decided, and it's one of an infinite number of ways of looking at life, but that just happens to be the one that I like. So that's what I've decided on. What about you? It won't be the same because you're not me. But what about you? Despina says, I wrote something about my mother-in-law. I visited her last night and my heart broke. Helpless she is and filled with guilt. Bedridden, unable to move, yet spirited and humorous. She talks incessantly of old times and youth. She needs affection and love. I kneel near her feet and touch her hand. Weak she is, but talks of love. Well, it sounds like you're giving her affection and love. And it sounds like she has also given you a lot of love in her life. Old folks do talk about old times, don't they? But she talks about youth as well. It's this thing about maybe something happens in the middle of life. Maybe this is the definition of the middle of life. For the first half, you try and get as much as you can. And then something happens and you think, shit, this ain't going to last forever. And then you think, fuck that, I'm going to start giving as much as I can. And then you flip, the tables turned and you want to start giving as much as you can until you leave and go somewhere else. So, I like that. I like that way of looking at it. I wrote a couple of poems when my Greek mother-in-law died. And I might read one of them now, actually. And yeah, it was a powerful moment. I mean, hopefully yours will be here for the foreseeable future. I don't know what the situation is, but whilst she's here, spirited and humorous, that sounds good. It sounds nice. If she's talking about love, then what else? What else is there? What else is there? Filled with guilt. That sounds like sounds like a shame, but if that's what she is. Yeah, I'm no psychiatrist or a psychologist or anything, so I can just say words that come to me, but they may or may not be useful or have any meaning. Let me see if I can find, the way I deal with a lot of things, including the death of my ex-wife's grandmother. Basically after a few months that I moved to Greece, I was only there for about a year, her dear grandmother died. And I went through something which I had never been through before with anybody. And although I wasn't very close, I was obviously kind of close or getting close to this old Greek lady who was loved by her family and so on. And there was one poem, I'll show it to you, but I won't read it because it was a bit heavy. When was it? Maybe 2001, 2002 maybe? But one was lighter, shorter, and yeah, here it is. So for Lament. So Lament was the longer, heavier one, which I won't read. You know where it is. It's on mysticrhythms.com in 2002, if you want to read it. And it looks like, this was when I wasn't really taking photographs. Well, I was taking photographs. That's from 𝗜𝗡𝗙𝗜𝗓. Lament, it looks like this. Okay, so that's pretty, I like it as a poem. But this one is a little lighter. It's called For Sophia, Wherever She May Lie. And it goes something like this. For Sophia, wherever she may lie. I have to change that because it should be on, what made it bigger? It should be on, I don't like the way they should be single lines. Oh, well, let's see. Will she drift through the fragrant, so for Sophia, wherever she may lie. Will she drift through the fragrant almond trees, like a wayward nymph on a westward breeze, or a light from a firefly, proud as you please, in the blazing shades of dawn? Might I meet her down on the misty heath, toasting acorns on a smoky wreath, swapping recipes with the folks beneath, waiting for the morn? Should I look for her on the lily pad, in a shimmering pool, filigree clad, consoling a dragonfly, deathly sad, wings so lightly worn? I shall wait for her on the shifting sand, on the limits of this foreign land. With a wave she'll come, holding out her hand, by the current gently borne. for Sophia, wherever she may lie. And I have always found creating something a very powerful way of dealing with emotions, and in particular poetry. I don't know why it is. There's something about poetry. I often compare myself negatively to singers, because they've got the words and they've got a damn melody as well. You know, I'm jealous. I think, you know, God, you know, you're a wordsmith. You know, you're the wordsmith like I try to be, but you've got a beautiful tune as well, and it bugs me. You know, it pisses me off. But then I think yes, but as soon as you add something, you dilute what is already there. As soon as you add a melody to words, you've split the intensity. And you've got to be damn good at the words and the melody, actually, to keep the intensity. You might think often I listen to the melody, but if I don't listen to the words, and if I read the words, I think, well, they're a bit crap. Or the words are good, but the melody is sort of bleh. So there's something about poetry. There's something about just the words. There's so many things you can do with words without having to add a tune. A tune's something else. A tune gets in the way sometimes. So on the one hand, I'm a bit envious about someone who writes amazing words and has an amazing tune to go with it and sings it as well, or plays an instrument. You know, I'm thinking, oh, for God's sake, how can I ever match that? Like it's a competition. But then I think, no, don't think that. Don't think that. Without the melody, the words are more intense. So that's basically what I think. Wonderful poem, Sab. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's one that, you know, well, all of my stuff, like any poem, I hope any poem should reveal more the more you read it. Some don't, some are simple, but the best ones do. The best ones do. Because there's so many, you know, plays on words, double meanings, triple meanings sometimes, meanings which you can never know because they belong to the person or the person's culture. You know, that's what makes poetry great, I think. And as I often say, poetry is an interesting thing because you're trying to express in words something that can't be expressed in words, an emotion. If you're talking about an emotion, it's not the emotion, it's words about the emotion. And yet you're trying. So that's why poetry is it's a bittersweet experience. And the worst thing, I think, is to try and explain a poem in other words. You know, what's the poem about? Well, it's about this, you know. What the poet was trying to do was this. No, you have to experience it. Experience the words, drown in them, and just let whatever happens, happens. What do you guys think about poetry? Do you write poetry? Is that part of your creative outlet? Have you ever? Anyone who's watching who hasn't commented, Despina is my faithful friend who comments a lot. What about if you're watching and you're not commenting? How about commenting? Why don't you join in the fun? Tell me what you think about poetry as a creative outlet. It might not be for you, you know. There's plenty of creative outlets that are absolutely, I would not torture you with my efforts in many creative outlets. Poetry, you know, playing with words, whatever you want to call it, happens to be something I like doing. What about you? What's your favourite creative outlet? And why? Why is it that is the way you like to express things? And what is your best way, your creative way of dealing with negative emotions? How do you deal with those? Do you find that being creative helps? I like it because, especially if you've lost something or someone, it's like they're not lost because they gave birth to a poem, to a painting, or to something. That's the way I like to look at it. Some days you just need the music, and some days you just need the lyrics. Don't remember where I read it. Well, I just read it here. What is one song that combines both for you? Some days you just need the music. Some days you just need... Well, you know, I'm a big music fan. And I've got this mini project where I'm putting my favourite songs of all time with a short commentary and maybe anecdote on my Facebook page. So it's very important for me. I just don't do it. Some days you just need the music. Some days you just need the lyrics. Luckily, there are many people who do amazing lyrics with amazing music. So, you know, we don't have a problem there. There's plenty of them. It's just I'm not one of them. I wrote a poem, a very short one. I think it's called Play Me. And it was to the tune of a Greek traditional song when I was laughingly learning the, not the banjo, what do they call it? Bazooka, something like that. You know, they're like a guitar with a round body with double strings. It's so cool. And at some point I dreamed of learning that, but I didn't. But there was this tune, really simple tune, and I wrote a poem to it. Well, to one little refrain. I wonder if I can find it. It's called Play Me. Not play me like you play your guitar. Oh, I had that open. No, I didn't. Play Me, there it is. So this was written just before not long before I left actually. So things were probably breaking down. I think that's how it went. Wingtips touching water, was our first kiss, was almond blossom breezes, was our first bliss, was something like that. Finger flick guitar strings, was our first heartbeat. Wet lips touching wet lips touching tongue, wet lips touching tongue tips, was our first soul meet. Lost like a lamb in a storm. Now this was the thing you might recognise. It goes ding da da ding da da ding. Lost like a lamb in a storm. Something like that. Bazooki. Same to you, dear. I mean, so many songs. Where would you start? Thousands, you know, thousands of songs I love. It could be anything. So off the top of my head, one that came to me that I can probably barely listen to, it's like pure, dripping, painful beauty, would be The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face by Roberta Flack. You know, other than that, there's millions. One I love, oh my God, was Morrissey's very recent song. It's #1 in my series, #1. I mean, it's the first one. I don't mean it's the best. I mean, it's the first one I did in my series of music. And it's called Still the River. What is it? Still the River something or other. I love it. Oh, it's so cool. And it's got this sort of Irish accordion type thing in it. Once I Saw the River Clean by Morrissey. Oh, just so amazing. About memories of his childhood days. You know, it could be anything. You know, Vincent by Don McLean. I wrote a song. I wrote a poem about Van Gogh. And I had Vincent in mind. That is a stunning song, Vincent. Yeah, those are just 3 off the top of my head. Thomas says, I only did poetry sometimes, but I love playing with words. I've noticed. So maybe I do more poetry than I'm thinking. Maybe you do. You know, I know you're a lover of words, Thomas. I've got a project. It's like a rebirth of a project. In the past, I've had websites and blogs about playing with words. I had one that was called Hodgepodge English. I had one called Fun English Lessons, Rainbow English School, all sorts of stuff like that. and I had blogs. About the wonder, the crazy, weird wonder of English words. And I'm dying to start it up again. I've got two websites. I've got one, it's called 𝗏𝗏𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗏, which is a cool name, 𝗏𝗏𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.com. I've also got 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. So it's obviously much clearer. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 English, it sounds like it's about English. But 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is cooler because it hasn't got the word English in. But maybe people won't know it's about words. So I don't know, really. I don't know. What do you think? What would be cooler for a website about the crazy weirdness of English words in all its manifestations? I'd love. Would you like? Do you think 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 would be really cool, or 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 English would be better, or I kind of want to get away from the English thing, 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is just such a cool name, and I've never ever managed to find a use for it. I've also got blackwitch.com. I've only recently, after many years, found a use for lazypig.com. Lazypig.com is my articles on curiosity, like craziness, on infinity, that's the life, the universe and everything, on creativity, on productivity. Lazypig.com. How cool. I've got blackwitch.com, but I have no idea what I could use blackwitch.com for. It's cool. I mean, I'm not a devil worshipper, but isn't it cool? People like Halloween, Blackwitch. So what could I use blackwitch.com for? And I've got 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. And I'm dying to have a new site for the joy of crazy English. Help me out. Sometimes written words come out as poetry. Well, I find... Oh, Dorothy. Hello, Dorothy. Nice to have you here. You were watching in peace and quiet until I called you out. Written words come out as poetry. You know what? I write every day. Did you know that? I write every day. Look. See? Nine pictures with 9 texts in 9 days. And look at this one here. I find that there's a very thin line between poetic art with words and simple prose. In fact, I don't really write normal prose. I'm always tempted to make words rhyme, or alliteration, funny, interesting rhythms. So this, for example, the text that came from this wasn't a poem, and yet would you call this prose? Would you call this standard English descriptive writing? So what you've got is a whizzing carousel with the Eiffel Tower behind it and me in front of it. The carousel sulks, slyly static, morbidly motionless, as Lady Eiffel and I, aberrantly alive, whiz by. The world's a whir, my life's in a spin, but the prancing horses are frozen, fetlocks spindly thin. The only constant, the stupid carousel's stubbornly still. I will it to move. It's stuck, no surprise. I'm kind of feeling I should have rhymed surprise with still. Well, still goes with will, I guess. The only constant, the stupid carousel's stubbornly still. I will it to move. It's stuck, no surprise. Yeah, no surprise is supposed to kind of go with whiz by, you see. Maybe I should have put whizzes by. No, it can't be whizzes because it's Lady Eiffel and I, whiz by. So you can see that when I write, it's far from standard descriptive prose. The carousel sulks, slyly static, morbidly motionless, as Lady Eiffel and I, aberrantly alive, whiz by. So it's not a poem. It's absolutely not a poem, and yet it's what came out. So I'm playing with words all the time. I can't do it any other way. That's me. Obviously, some other writings, they're not so, they can be descriptive and all the rest of it, but very often they look. I mean, this isn't poetic. I don't think it is anyway. The reason I'm writing this at 7 in the morning, in case you're wondering, which you couldn't be because you don't know when I'm writing it, So I try to play around all the time. In case you're wondering, is that I was violently seized from sleep an hour ago by a tremendous repeated hammering on the rattly glass door to my apartment building. I heard muffled voices, but no scuffling, and the words "Monsieur" and "en face," opposite. So if it was an exciting police raid just after the legal 6 a.m. watershed for such things, I've seen those shows, apparently it wasn't me they were after. In other news, I broke my mega healthy protein and greens diet yesterday to binge on crisps and ice cream, and my stomach rebelled big time. My biggest concern was that I'd be carted unceremoniously underwearless off to jail with diarrhea unglamorously running down the inside of my legs. I can think of classier ways to go. So I would, whether you believe me or not, I would say that that is about 1/3 of the way between standard prose, descriptive prose, and poetry. You know, it's not poetry. It's not even as sort of fancy as the one with the Eiffel Tower and the carousel. But there's something about it that I can't help. Every single word counts, every single one. And it should be there, you know. If you look at something that I've written, I want every word to be where it is intentionally. I don't want any random words, even though it might appear random. Even looking at that, even reading that, I saw something that I thought, hang on a second. Those 2 words, I didn't dwell on it. I didn't want to. But you see, every single word should have its place. Or not be there, or not be that word, be another word. It's an art. It's important, you know. We decide what's important in our lives, and that's important to me. So there you go. Despina says Bouzouki, which is the tune. It's a tune that I wrote to play me to. Vincent is one of my favourite songs too. Yeah, it's a stunning song, absolutely stunning song. You know what? Maybe I'll make it my my Don McLean song, because as I'm doing my series, I need every time. I mean, there's many artists out there, but there's going to be a first time for each artist to feature in my list, and I haven't done Don McLean yet, so I might make it Vincent. Or what I sometimes do is not choose the most obvious, because it's too, you know, it's just too obvious. I want. Like for example, Don McLean, you'd think American Pie. That bugs me, that song. Okay, it's very famous, it's got a tune, everyone recognises. But it's no way my favourite song from him. My favourite songs grab me by the throat. It's not like that song is like an American institution. But that isn't the one that grabs me by the throat. In fact, there are others that he has written which grab me by the throat more than Vincent. It's just Vincent is stunning. Stunning tune. Amazing words. And great subject. But there's things like, oh my, what a shame. Oh my, what a shame. No one's to blame. And stuff like that, which, you know, and they're not known. So sometimes I choose the ones that are not known, just so that someone discovers a song they don't know. Dorothy says, I'm listening and ironing and folding laundry. Facebook Lives to iron to. Facebook Lives to fold laundry to. That's nice. That's nice. I like that. It's a bit creative. Listening to me or folding laundry? Can you be creative as you're ironing? Or maybe it's sort of meditative. But don't meditate too long in one place, because then you might have a sort of iron-shaped hole in your laundry. But you'd remember me, wouldn't you? Every time you put that sheet on your bed, you'd think, Sab the bastard. It's not prose, it's not poetry, it's sab-sanging. Sab-sanging. Yeah. I think we're getting to the end of this, the usefulness of this show. Sab-sanging. Yeah, it is. There you go. So that was my output so far this week. I've written another one. I'm about to publish it in case you're desperate for more. It's rather a cynical one that's coming up in a few minutes when I publish it. See what you think. I was just getting kind of cynical about, you know what, there's this, it seems to me, this is what my text is for my next one. It seems to me like I just kept seeing these Facebook posts saying happy something or other, which is basically the old pagan name for Halloween. The pagan rituals, the Celtic ceremonies that came before Halloween that led to sort of Halloween kind of. It seems like everyone and their cat are becoming sort of pagan witches in their spare time, and I was just getting a bit sort of cynical about it, so I wrote about that. Okay, right, what else have you got to tell me before I say goodnight? Don't forget that on a Monday, I do a show where you come on, it's Zoom, you come on and you show your face and you tell me one thing you're planning on doing in the next few days. That's tomorrow. And on Friday, you come on Zoom, show your face, speak with words, and tell me one thing, tell us one thing you're pleased that you did. Okay, it's very simple, that's all it is, but it's nice, and we have a chat, we get to know each other, it's like a family. And that's pretty much it. Let me give you a word from my sponsors. Oh, that's gone. Log in. Oh. Continue with Google. I can't even log in. Yeah, I'm just going to remind you of this new thing that I'm doing. This, if you don't get my newsletter, go here, infinitecreativitynow.com/newsletter, and you can get a bunch of ninja tips to be more creative and productive. You get my newsletter 1 or 2 more times a week. You can discuss the creative tips from the newsletter in the Infinite Creativity Now group. It's great. So go there if you like, infinitecreativitynow.com/newsletter. Invite your friends to join. Join the group, get the newsletter, that would help. And this one, I've got a patron and I get €2 a month when charges have been disappointed. View page. You shouldn't be seeing this. This is the back end. So it's a place where you can become a patron and enjoy certain privileges, and it's kind of fun. And I've got all these levels which are rainbow coloured, which is really fun. So that's something which is cool. Yeah. When I'm earning, like €2,000 a month, I won't show you the back end, but right now it's what it is. And the fun of this was creating the levels. So I've got all sorts of levels with all sorts of contribution levels, but you move up the levels and you get pictures and stuff. And red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. How cool is that? So if you want to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/SabInParis. And I think I'll call it a day. That has been a really nice... Shall I leave you with a meme? Oh, look at that. Beautiful stuff from Kirsten. Contributing and creating every day, I think. Kirsten, amazing. I wanted to leave you with this. This is a meme on one of my favourite recent photographs. I was walking through the streets of Paris and I came across a little window stacked high with books from ceiling to floor, and in a kind of V in between a couple of stacks of books were 3 pigs, one on top of the other. You got a face, you got a backside, you've got another face. It was such a cool photograph. And on top of that, I was waiting to see what sort of meme would fall out of my head. And I'll just put this up here because it's rather flattering. Make me feel good. You are amazing. Good night. And it was this that came out finally. And this series of memes, which is called the Get Crazy Creative with infinitycoaching.biz. It's I made them rhyme. So if you don't know your trotters from your snout, think it out. No one will give a grunt when your cunning stunts a bleeding rotter. Get a plan. So the point of that is, and this is more for me than for anyone else, means get organized. Get some sort of plan going. For example, creating every day. Because if you don't, it's kind of random. You know, you might create something one day, maybe next week you do something else, but not the same thing. So although it's kind of against my religion to get organized and have plans, there is definitely something in it. The final example I'll give you, well, I'll give you a couple. One is that this crazy creative, these memes, this is about number 35. So 35 memes like this, that's 35 thought out pieces of text on an image. That doesn't come from not having a plan. I don't have much of a plan, but I do have a plan to do memes called Get Crazy Creative with 𝗜𝗡𝗙𝗑𝗔𝗧𝗜𝗏. That's the plan. Do regular memes. And now I've got more than 30. That, as the French say, and I always like to say this, the French have the expression, ce n'est pas rien, ce n'est pas rien. It's not nothing. In other words, it's better than nothing. It's a lot better than nothing. And that comes from having an idea and actually, you know, putting it into action rather than doing nothing. And that's what us creative folks have to do. We have to push ourselves. If you're being creative, no one else is lying awake at night dreaming your dream for you. You're the only one dreaming your dream, dreaming of how you are going to make a creative difference in the world. So you've got to be the one who not only dreams the dream, but puts it into action. So that's why I'm saying in this, get a plan. There might be other memes that I've written where it says, let chaos reign. For all I know, that's fine. It doesn't matter. There's time for this and a time for that. This meme was about getting a plan, getting organized, and then you can be more creative than if you're not vaguely organized. And my final example is this, and is always this at the moment. It's this, you see, if I click on this one here, which is almost the last one I did, it's an image of Paris, it's a text which was well thought out, and it's number 1035. And it took me 1035 days to produce 1035 of these. Ce n'est pas rien. It's not nothing. And that's because I had a plan. So there you go. I'll leave you with that thought. It's amazing what can happen. Not that thought. That thought. It's amazing what can happen if you just decide to do something on a regular basis. Do it every day. Not 6 days a week. Because that day off becomes very, very flexible. Every day, create something. If you want to make it the same thing, that's really good, because you can try it. Try the same thing for 7 days a week, in case you didn't know, and then you'll know if that's your thing, if that's the thing that you will do without even thinking about it. If it's not, it doesn't matter. It means it's not. Do something else, but do something. Do something. You can change whenever you like. That's no big deal. The best sign I find is when you are irritated when you haven't done it yet. It's getting on in the day, you haven't done your thing yet, your daily thing, and it's starting to niggle. You're starting to say, now when am I going to do it? You're not saying, am I going to do it? You're saying when. That's a good thing. That means it's become part of your routine. It's make one creative, if you're a creative person, make one creative thing that you can do in a day. Don't make it too big. That you can easily do in an hour, for example, or half an hour. It doesn't matter. Make it a part of your routine that is on a par with brushing your teeth or I don't know, combing your hair. Something you do every day. Make it on a par with that. It's non-negotiable. It's a pleasure. It's something you just do. That's just part of what you are. And you'll be amazed how quickly it builds up. And you look back and you think, yes, I am so glad I decided to make that part of what I am. That's it. Desmond says, you are amazing and good night. Thank you, you too. And Thomas says, bye-bye, have a good night all. Thanks for watching, everybody. Really appreciate it. It's been fun, and there'll be more of the same next week. Are you up for it? I hope so. And have a great creative week. I look forward to